Jacob's long-held desire, like his hope in life, is that he someday gets to witness an alien abduction and that it's him.
Yes.
And that they probe him repeatedly.
Of course.
About the head and neck area and about the waist area.
Yes.
The Cracked Cauldron is a podcast hosted by Ed Bolden-Greer and Jacob A. Garner. In each episode, Ed and Jacob will have free-flowing conversations about life, culture, and personal growth.
No thought too dumb.
No question too deep.
The conversation starts here. Welcome to the Cauldron.
Hey, Jacob, man, how you doing?
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this episode. You have no idea.
I figured you would be. What's been going
on? Man, compared to you, not much.
It's been a wild couple weeks.
Yeah. Mine have been relatively, I would say, boring. Just working out a lot more. I'm eating a boring diet right now. I had a boiled chicken with salt and pepper and green beans for lunch today. So that was super delicious. Very healthy. What'd you eat today, Ed?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
Well, I had a pack of peanut butter crackers.
Oh, wow.
I got into the office late and was not able to have lunch before all my meetings started. So
I've started carrying. Oh, this is a huge announcement I want to make live on air. Me, Jacob Garner, have officially decided to take the next step in my relationship with my Thon Ollie, and we now have Sam Club memberships. So now joint.
Yes, Sam Club memberships.
It's getting pretty serious.
You know what?
Kids are on the way.
I am so proud of you.
And dude, I've been telling you, now I just carry various snacks. So if you want a fresh pear or a bag of not garbage trail mix, I have some in my bag ready for you to eat.
No, we're going to dinner and taking one of our staff members to dinner who's having a hard time in life right now.
Well, do they need healthy trail mix? By the way, Zach is taking his partner Jay for their birthday to a restaurant called the Kennedy. I've heard about it. And your reaction also makes me think, I don't know if he knows how expensive this shit's going to be.
I don't know.
Could you imagine Zach in a place like that? Just for a split second. It's going to be
I can
awesome.
imagine him wearing the tie with a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Bless it.
Bless it. You want to play the game?
Let's do it.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah, okay. This one feels not so timely because it's not even close. But which player is probably the best at wrapping presents? I know a couple of them make a whole activity, an evening out of doing it. They get excited to do it. I don't remember who they were though. Is it Kristen?
I not that I'm aware of. I know that Cindy's pretty good at it.
Cindy?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
So I'll say Cindy.
All right, word. I don't even know. I don't even have an answer. You go.
This is objects.
Okay.
What's the worst thing you've ever received as a present?
A fondue kit.
Now, hold on. We're going to explain this. Well, it's not useless. Fondue is more than cheese. Now, for the benefit of the brew crew and any new listeners that we have out there, Jacob is probably the most lactose intolerant person I know.
That's it is my cross to bear for sure.
It is. He still will consume mass amounts of dairy.
Yep, doesn't stop me.
When it is called for. And so, Jacob, here's the thing: there is a lot of other things rather than cheese that you can use a fondue pot for.
I'm fully aware of this, but I mean, even on the box, it shows a giant melty cheese fork and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but you can really cook pork and beef and all that
I
stuff.
don't care. Look, you shouldn't have given it to me. I get that it was a joke, but it was a fondue turned into a fondant.
Don't.
Yeah. So what about you? What was the worst gift you got?
Worst gift I've ever gotten. I don't know.
Really?
My mind keeps going back to my grandfather, who I wasn't allowed to keep it, just so you're aware. But my grandfather, when I was like 11 years old, gave me a pistol.
What the? At 11?
Mm-hmm. And so I didn't get to keep it.
Yeah.
And so probably worst gift.
Yeah.
You know?
I got one for you, Ed.
Okay.
Name a famous person who has appeared on a t-shirt you've worn, or, and this one seems more fun to me, or a poster you've had on your wall.
So anybody famous.
Yeah. What's the first one that comes to mind? I'm sure you had posters and stuff on the wall when you were younger, right?
Well,
You got posters in here, actually.
Yeah.
In the G spot.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I don't think outside of concert tees, I'm going to say Ozzy Osbourne.
Word.
Because I had many Ozzy Osbourne t-shirts and some posters. They weren't in my room, but they were in the game room.
I think mine, I was actually just talking about this with a coworker of mine because I recently found out that he's a huge Beatlemaniac. And I grew up a huge Beatles fan. Still am one, And he asked me, he said, did you ever own any shirts with it on? And actually, the very first band or famous person t-shirt I ever had was kind of like this rainbow psychedelic black t-shirt of the Rubber Soul album that the Beatles had.
Interesting fact. I've heard this at many family gatherings.
I've heard that too. At my family gathering.
No. Jared was going to be called Jude. They were going to name him Jude. But Jared's father was afraid they would call him Judas.
It's kind of, all right.
Okay.
I mean, I probably would have if the moment arose. He definitely does strike me as somebody that could be named Jude, though.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. All right. So my next question is animals.
Animals, gotcha.
Which animal would make the best assassin?
The best assassin? Maybe
Whoa.
earthquake.
Jesus.
There's an earthquake here.
There's an earthquake here.
This is our first time doing this. I think the best one would be one of those reptiles that can crawl on the walls, or actually, dude, a mole, because it could come up underneath people, break in, and then stab them.
Come up underneath people like they're going to come up through their butthole.
No, yeah, well, maybe if that's how they need to assassinate them, but it has a poison or something in its claw, and then it just comes up underneath your foot and
I guess a snake could do the same thing.
Well, yeah, but the snake was the obvious answer, right?
You were wanting
if you see a mole, most people think moles are cute, and they would let a mole get close enough to it that it could stab them. That's the noise it would make.
I'm going to agree with you. They would just be like,
it's just like that, and then they're gone.
And then you're dead. You're just dead from mole. All right. Well, today we are going to be talking about something that's so near and dear to Jacob's heart.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob has long had and we've talked about this on the previous seasons, but not this season.
No.
And I'm obliged under Jacob's contract to have at least one episode, and it may turn out to be more than one this season.
I hope so.
To talk about aliens.
Yes.
Jacob's long-held desire, his hope
shaking
in life, is that he someday gets to witness an alien abduction, and that it's him.
Yes.
And that they probe him repeatedly.
Of course.
About the head and neck area and about the waist area.
Yes. And I will gladly, if any of our listeners, anybody part of the Brew Crew knows where these aliens are at, or if you are the aliens that I'm talking about, feel free. I will link my address in the episode description behind a paywall. But, if you have it, here's what I'm going to say, Ed. When we were writing down ideas for this season's episodes,
every one of your entries was aliens.
Yes, aliens or aliens adjacent. I absolutely love the idea of aliens. I believe that they exist. And every season we talk about them, there is something new that has developed. And that is not changing in the year of our Lord 2026. And I'm super excited to get into it.
Well, I'm awfully pleased to be able to enlighten the Brew crew with information about aliens. But I do want them to go back into our catalog and listen to the other episodes that we had back when we were just mere children.
Yep, just little podcast babies.
One of the reasons we wanted to talk about aliens and UFOs and UAPs and extraterrestrial is that more and more we're hearing about the government's involvement with this. One branch of the government will come out and say, hey, all of those earlier reports were really something, a secret weapon we had.
Oh, yeah.
And then our very maybe I don't want to take responsibility or claim. Well, Tim Burchett called on Trump recently to release the files on UFOs and aliens, and then Trump turned around and said he was going to.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Oh yeah, he's been saying that for years.
And I think about a lot because of you. It's your fault.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
100% responsible for this.
You're welcome.
I think about the conspiracies.
Oh, so many. There's so many.
I also think about Area 51 and how just a couple years ago, people were going to rush in.
Yeah, storm it.
But it makes me wonder, especially with the new images that we're getting from the satellites and the new moon travel that we've done.
Oh, trust me, I'm going to wrap that out into my conspiracy theory that I got.
I started doing a little research for today, and you know me, I need to fully comprehend this stuff, and I went back and I said, okay. I'm going to be honest. I used an AI, and then I used Google, and then I used some actual books.
Okay.
And I wanted to know what was the earliest reference to any kind of extraterrestrial event. Okay.
Well, I mean, fun fact, and I know you've got yours, but fun fact, in our Ancient Aliens episode, we actually talked about what's perceived as one of the first descriptions of an alien flying around on a ancient Sumerian relief.
However, this predates that.
It does?
Yep. Let's go back. Let's take a trip back in time to 593 BC.
Okay.
There was a man, according to history and the Bible, a man named Ezekiel.
Yep.
Now, Ezekiel is famous for supposedly authoring one of the books of the Bible, but he's also in that book, in the Bible, he is one of the two people who have entered heaven without dying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, there is a reference to Ezekiel seeing the wheel. Okay. And this is a story about a vision that Ezekiel had. Visions are not always when you're asleep. And he saw wheels within wheels. Okay. Then we could come up to 1561. Now I know because you and I kind of went over some notes earlier.
Before you glance over it, how did Ezekiel enter heaven? Because this is very fascinating for ancient alien beliefs.
I don't know.
He literally gets transported to heaven
to heaven
via Like going into the clouds?
But I can't tell you. He was lifted up in the cloud, yes. I can't tell you how he was.
I mean, you and I weren't there.
Yeah, we weren't there. But I would say probably teleported, if we're going to talk about that.
All I'm saying, I don't know if they had tinfoil hats back then. All I'm saying, Ed,
Jacob certainly has his on today.
If I believed in ancient aliens and the prophet Ezekiel,
well, then this is going to really get you.
Okay.
So we go back to 1561 to Nuremberg and the Holy Roman Empire.
Yep.
And on April 14th, it's recorded. You ready for this? That there was a celestial battle, 1561, where lots and lots of people witnessed something that they described as the sky filling with spheres and cylinders and crosses and crescents, other shapes that appeared, and they all moved erratically and crashed into each other and clashed as if it were an aerial battle. Okay? Now, there is a broadsheet or a newspaper that was printed by Hans Glosser that describes this, but it was accepted. Okay? Just accepted. You ready for another? Very close to that time, not the same year. In 1566, in Switzerland, Basel, Switzerland. A lot of people saw a dramatic sky phenomenon in which they described it as red and black spherical objects appearing to move and clash and crash and fight in the sky before sunrise. Okay? These events were recorded by Samuel Coccius, Coccius, and later preserved in something called the Wickian collection. Okay? We could go to 329 BC too if we wanted to stay in the ancient world.
Okay.
Alexander the Great recorded two accounts. Okay. It's not clear whether he wrote them or his chroniclers wrote them because almost everything he did was written down.
Yeah.
So it's probably a chronicler. But in 329 BC, and then again in 332 BC, described shiny, circular, fast-moving aerial objects during two separate military campaigns. Now, one of the things that you've said to me in past episodes and when we were doing our pre-recording, you said to me almost always these sightings were in conjunction with something really big happening. Two battles of Alexander the Great, and we see these things. So that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about ancient alien lore or mythos or whatever you want to call it. That brings us up, and I know you'll take over here, but that brings us up to the modern era, which began in 1947. And I know you know the story of Keith Arnold's sightings and the oncoming Roswell crash and Project Blue Book and Betty and Barney Hill's abduction, first probing. I know that's where you got part of your fantasy from.
Yes, of course.
Do you have alien costumes?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
See,
that's me acting like the government when you ask them these questions.
So, I'm gonna be very interested in seeing what you have to say today.
Okay, I just want to offer a quick disclaimer to the Brew crew and you, Ed, that not only am I going to be talking about aliens, UAPs, and UFOs, I think it's important to also understand that I'm going to be sprinkling in, not so subtly, a lot of conspiracy theory about the government. I'm just making sure everybody's on the same page with me on this. Also, government, if you're listening and I'm on to you, please try your hardest. As I get closer and closer to the truth, please don't take me out. So, Nick, our sound engineer, if I disappear randomly, posthumously release this podcast, please. All right, so a couple of important things I wanted to talk about. What you mentioned about significant things happening around the time of sightings.
Yep.
Now, interestingly enough, in 59 BC, when it came to Ezekiel's story about seeing the wheel and then being brought into the clouds when he was going into heaven, really interesting thing was going on. The military invasion into Nubia by Egypt was taking place.
Yep.
One of the largest and oldest civilizations, the Egyptian, making massive moves around that area. Then you also had, obviously, Alexander the Great doing his massive military campaigns. Something really interesting that happened in 1566 with the battle over that city, Nuremberg. That actually coincided at the same year that it was the death of the Ottoman Empire's most powerful sultan. And it started the Dutch revolt that would then later devolve into the Dutch Civil War. Again, another huge military thing going on right there. And then look at like Los Alamos and Area 51. So Los Alamos, for people who don't know where or what that place is, it's a very small town located in New Mexico. And that is actually where a majority of the Trinity tests took place during the development of the atomic weapons that we then later used to win the Second World War against Japan. So you'll notice a common through line for all of this is military actions and grievous death to human population centers, right? Mm-hmm. I am of the opinion, and the Brew crew who've been listening to me ramble on about aliens for a while, understand that when I really sit down and think about aliens interacting with human beings, I look at a particular race of aliens that I believe are the ones that are the most commonly associated with our visitors and abductions and everything like that. I firmly believe that they act as shepherds for the human race. Are you
talking about the Greys?
Yeah, the gray aliens. I firmly believe that if they exist, they are shepherds of the human race. And whenever it feels like we are about to carry out a lot of damage to one another, like squabbling kids, the gray aliens as our parents push our heads back and say, hey, you two, leave each other alone. All right. Yeah. And I also believe in multiverse theories, that there are some universes where the aliens did not interact with us the way that they needed to, and we ceased to exist as a human race. Like we bombed each other during the Cold War or something like that. I truly believe that...
Well, conversely, if we're going to talk about multiverse, then there's also a universe where we did survive and we become enlightened.
Yeah, exactly. That could have happened as well. Well, it did happen if you believe in multiverse theory and like string theory and whatnot. But that's not what today's topic's about. I think that it's not too much of a stretch of the imagination to assume that the government, nuclear powers across the world, specifically the nuclear powers, that they have either been in the same room where gray aliens are communicating with us as their shepherds, or governments like the UK, the Soviet Union, now Russia, and then the United States tell every nation state that gets nuclear weapons, listen to us. The moment you develop these, gray aliens, a race of super intelligent beings, are going to contact you. We are not playing for our nations anymore. We're playing for the health of our race and the human experience, right? Conspiracy theory that I have right now, and then I'll back off of this and really tell you about something that I really wanted to talk about today. I have a conspiracy theory that with Iran continuing to try to get nuclear weapons, maybe the nuclear powers that are associated with this sort of collective that are working with the shepherds of the human race, maybe they're worried that that nation will not play ball and that the aliens are going to make themselves well known, and it will upset the apple cart, upsetting every institution, religious and otherwise. So I feel like maybe if you really want to be a conspiracy theorist, it's not about oil and it's not about nuclear bombs per se. It's about the side effects and, pun fully intended, the fallout if a rogue nation state gets them. Also, I think North Korea knows something about it. But that's for another day.
That's for another day. Now, before we dive into some more of your theories.
Thank you for being generous there.
I wanted to go back and, because you've never mentioned this, I don't think, in the whole time. Because, you know, all of a sudden we have ancient aliens, and then all of a sudden we jump up to 1947. But there was actual. Do you know about Aurora, Texas?
Doesn't ring a bell right now. I may have heard
So
about them.
in 1897, in Aurora, Texas, April 19th to be exact, just a couple days ago,
Yeah.
a cigar-shaped airship drifted over the town just before sunrise. Okay. It collided with Judge J.S. Proctor's windmill. It exploded, and it scattered metallic debris across the property. The pilot was killed and described as not of this world, with some speculations that he might have been from Mars. Locals reportedly buried the pilot with Christian rites.
That was nice of him.
Yeah, in the Aurora Cemetery. A grave marker once existed but has since disappeared. Wreckage was said to have been dumped into a nearby well, later sealed after a property owner claimed health issues from contaminated water. What do you think about that? By the way, in 2008, the History Channel did an investigation that reopened that sealed well and found metal pieces with high aluminum content, but the results were inconclusive.
All I'm saying is the amount of reports we have gotten throughout history since before photographs and videos were widely available. I think that there's too much smoke for there not to be any fire. And I'm ready to push back on people that are like, well, now that everybody has a phone and a camera in their pocket, how come we don't see it? Listen, if these beings were intelligent enough to bioengineer the human race and travel intergalactic distances, when they knew human beings did not have the type of technology to capture them, why would they give a shit to hide themselves? They wouldn't do it. Would you?
No.
Like if I was going to break into a house that I knew had no security system whatsoever, why would I bother putting a ski mask on? Why would I?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. If I allegedly had planned to do that, right? And by the way, I like that. And by the way, all I'm saying is for people like, well, what if you do get caught? What if they do look like you? Well, one, if I don't know the owner of the house from Adam or Eve, even if they saw my face, it wouldn't matter. And if I was wearing a ski mask and carrying a large burlap sack on my back dressed in all black, I'm going to look suspicious on my way to go break into that house. You get the point I'm trying to make?
You look suspicious all the time.
I know, but I was born this way. I'm so sorry.
He was born with that little suspicious smile. So there's a TikTok that I saw the other day, and it was a news reporter. I wish I could remember who it was for, but it was like Time Magazine or something like that.
Sure.
It's some national rag. And there's a reporter who is going around the country asking people a couple of questions. And the question that stood out, I don't remember the rest of it, but was, do you believe that there are aliens living among us? And the majority of people were saying yes.
I mean, yeah.
Well, how do you know I'm not an alien?
I don't. And that's why I routinely
Asking me to probe you? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm going to tell you no.
Nick, cut that. No.
So I'm gonna I know you're just chomping at the bits.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do a little ad.
All right.
Okay. We're not a formal ad, but we're associated with Small Raven Media, and that our sister podcast, the Ravensville podcast, also has a book club that I host.
Yes.
We just did this on April 15th. It's always on Wednesdays at 6:00, once a month. We reviewed the book called The Lamb by Lucy Rose.
Okay.
It was a disturbing book. And for me to say it was disturbing,
It had to be fucked up.
Yeah. But I want to invite all of the Brew crew and anybody listening to this to join us for this next episode. which is going to happen on May 20th, Wednesday, May 20th at 6 p.m. It's by Zoom. All you have to do is go to the website, type in ravensvalevail.com, click on book club. You'll read a little bit about it. Go to the schedule at the bottom. Go down to The Sinner and His Saints by Timber Phillips. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. You probably already know this, Jacob, but the Brew crew may not.
Okay.
Timber Phillips is a pseudonym. I think pseudonym's the right word.
Okay.
For A.J. Mason.
Yeah, it's a pseudonym.
Yeah. She wrote this book. It's available on Amazon, Audible, Barnes & Noble Books, Kindle.
You can probably just go to her website.
Yeah, you can get it there. But it's a good book. It's a cowboy horror story. The reason I bring it up now is we were talking about
that UFO. The Wild West, yeah.
But I want to invite everybody because we have a great time. Sometimes there's 3 of us. Sometimes there's 20 of us.
I love her too. She's just a hoot to talk to.
Well, since I'll make the announcement now, this is her third. This next one will be the 3rd time she's hosted the book club with me. We've hired her full time now as a host for the book club. So we're very excited to have her on board. And if you possibly can, join us for the book club.
Hell yeah.
Go ahead with your conspiracy theory.
You're
going to break into it again?
Yeah. There we go. All right. I will say, of anything, if you wanted to derail me about aliens, talking about her, yeah, I'll be fully on board for that. Hell yeah. All right, so here is the real meat and potatoes of the episode I wanted to talk about tonight. Okay? So, I'm not sure. I asked you to Google it. I'm sure you probably saw some headlines. I'm not sure if you read any actual articles about it, but I think that it's very, very interesting for the people in the audience tonight that have not heard this. So I'm just going to read a statement.
Okay.
At least 10 to 11 American scientists have been reported missing or dead under mysterious circumstances since 2023, according to multiple news sources. Okay. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Jacob, people end up missing and dead all the time. Okay, yeah, that's a fair statement to make, sure. The fact that all of these people have something in common with advanced nuclear propulsion, aerospace materials, space travel, and as I'll get into it later, something called galactic mapping, which is something that a lot of people haven't heard of.
Galactic mapping.
It's exactly what it sounds like, okay? All right.
I hope you all can't hear my stomach growling.
I got a pair. So, Los Alamos, again, for the people who need a refresher, Los Alamos is known as a hub for UAP and UFO activity. There's a lot of theories that a lot of the Roswell crash remains ended up originally going to Los Alamos and then Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Fun fact, my dad, when he was in the Air Force, worked at Patterson, which is a fun little fact. So, I think for people who are wondering, Jacob, what are you seeing? You're seeing something that's not there. Let me just read the names and what's happened to these people, okay? And I'll start with people that are important in their own right. May they rest in peace. But I'll save the more juicy people for last. We had Monica Reza. She was a NASA JPL engineer. She has been missing under mysterious circumstances since 2025. Steven Garcia, he was originally in the Air Force, but now at the time worked as a contractor. He was tied to the Kansas City National Security Campus. He's been missing since 2025. Melissa Cassis, she was a Los Alamos employee. She's been missing since 2025. All of these people, they didn't disappear on the same day, but it happened really fucking close to each other. Like the Reza disappeared on June 22nd, 2025. Garcia, He disappeared on August 28th, 2025. Cassius, she went missing on June 26th, 4 days after Reza. Anthony Chavez, another former Los Alamos employee, he's been missing since May of 2025. Carl Grillmeyer, he was a Caltech and NASA astrophysicist who was found shot dead in February of this year. And why is Carl Grillmeyer kind of important? Remember that galactic structure and mapping that I was talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he looked at the structure of the universe and figured out how various different uses of gravity affecting the matter in the universe could also affect travel, as we also know, time as well. And for a lot of people who don't read too much into alien propulsion technology, there's a common theory proposed by a wild guy named Bob Lazar, who has had the exact same story since the 80s about his involvement at Los Alamos, where they claim that they found and recovered an alien spacecraft that had a working gravity-bending engine that instead of propelling the craft through space and time, it moved space and time around the craft, making it being able to reach speeds way faster. And in theory, because the idea is if you go like at the speed of light, like 1 light year in speed, right? It would completely turn you and I into mush. Our biologic structure would completely turn into putty. But that's only because we are moving through space. But if I am standing in one spot and the room moves around me, like you guys just pick up the 4 walls and move it, I don't experience any G-forces whatsoever that would kill me, right? So Bob Lazar claims that that's how this thing moved, right? Also, something else that Carl Grillmeyer studied was exoplanets. So planets that are very, very far away that we theorize could host some form of alien life. And he researched dark matter.
Mm.
Now, everybody else just ended up missing. Carl, on the other hand, was found shot dead. And it makes you wonder, why was it so imperative that he get killed, dare I say, and no disrespect to him because he's dead, in a very sloppy manner? They even found the firearm that he was killed with, like in the front yard of his house. And the ruling at first was that it was a suicide, as if he shot himself and then tossed the gun out the front door. But now they're suspecting foul play. Then you have 2 more people. Frank Maywald. He was a NASA JPL researcher. He died on July 4th in 2024. Also, Maywald was overseeing a lot of projects that Reza, Garcia, and Chavez were directly underneath him. They have direct ties to each other. And then the last one is the most telling out of all of them that I find very, very conspiratorially bent, was William Neil McCaslin. He was also known as General UFO. That was like his name for a lot of UFO conspiracy theorists. He was a retired Air Force Major General, and he was tied to aerospace programs. He's been missing since February of this year as well. Do you remember me talking about the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base?
Yes.
He oversaw directly the laboratory where they theorize that a lot of the original Roswell crash, surviving wreckage, and in some circles, 2 recovered alien bodies were then transported from Los Alamos to the Wright-Patterson laboratory on that Air Force Base. And now he's missing this year. So.
Jacob, have you heard? Appalachian Horror Fest is back this October.
The one in Knoxville? With the storytellers, the vendors, the music, and all that spooky mountain magic?
That's the one. Saturday, October 10th at the Holiday Inn at Cedar Bluff. A full day of folklore, paranormal fun, and creative arts.
You're talking about vendors, panels, live music, and stories that'll stay with me long after the sun goes down.
Exactly. It's Appalachian's own celebration of mystery, storytelling, and imagination. Join us at Appalachian Horror Fest 2026, where stories come alive.
So you were mentioning like wrapping time around you.
Yes, time and space. Yes.
Yeah, it reminded me of a lot of different movies. Now I'm gonna hold what do I have in my hand?
You have a phone.
What kind of phone is this?
It's an iPhone.
It's a cell phone.
It's a cell phone.
Yeah,
yes.
a mobile device, like a communicator.
Mm-hmm.
I have said it many, many times. Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, all of those were just kind of fortune telling on things that were going to happen. But you talked about basically warping time, okay, time and space. And all of that was included in there. Most of the time, the theoretical concept came down to like gravitational time dilation.
Yeah.
Right?
We talked about that in the time travel episode. You guys should check it out.
Yep. And something that would work on mass and gravity at the same time. So here's a new philosophy kind of upholding the old philosophy that I want to kick in here.
Okay.
Wormholes.
Yeah. Wormholes.
The ability to create or open a wormhole on command and then go through it and be wherever you intended to be.
Well, and similar to the wormhole theory, there's a lot of ideas that vibrating at certain frequencies can allow you to pass from one dimension, whether it's the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever.
246.
And then you just vibrate at such a frequency that you end up for a split second being visible in our 3rd dimension. That's something that I've read as a conspiracy theory for a lot of people when they talk about this sort of alien technology. I could also, there was one theory in particular, I think we touched on it in a previous episode, but the idea that these spacecraft that don't crash, that we just see for a small blip of time, is it actually the physical spacecraft, or is it the shadow of a spacecraft in an alternate dimension? And only we can perceive, quote unquote, its shadow in our 3rd dimension.
Very interesting.
So what my conspiracy theory is with all of these people ended up missing. Now, there could be a very reasonable, plausible explanation for all this.
It could all be coincidence.
It could literally all be coincidence. You know how we conspiracy theorists get.
For example, coincidence. Last week I had a flat tire, piece of metal.
Yeah.
This week, just today, Jared had a flat tire roofing nail.
See?
We could say something or somebody's out to get us, when in reality, the two things are not connected.
If it was the exact same piece of metal, I would have been like, yeah, somebody's out to get me. But
probably aliens.
Yes. Like I was saying, I think that I have a tendency, especially when it comes to stuff like this, to draw the dots, connect them, and then see a picture that I want to see. I just think that it's a little bit suspicious that all of these people with their credentials, with their high profile, that they all end up missing. It's almost like there was going to be something that came out that these people could speak on the record and say, yes, actually, I know about this because I've been working on it.
Or I've done this, or any number of scenarios.
And because if it's just one person, like Bob Lazar, for example, Bob Lazar has been criticized all the time for his involvement at Los Alamos. They even claim that he never worked there, also their stuff. They claim this because he was one rogue actor, right? Claiming all this. This list of about 10 to 11 people, I believe, could be enough of a them tying up loose ends to say, look, if Garcia and Reza came out and said that this is true, we could just ignore them, sweep it under the rug, whatever. But if both McCaslin, Chavez, Grillmayer, plus Reza and Garcia all corroborate their stories and say, no, yeah, the government's been having us do this for a while. We're sworn to secrecy. Now we can't deny it anymore. I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of programs that our government has. You have the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP. You have something called Go Fast.
UAP, not UAP, it's something UAP, but I can't remember the others. And Gimbal, GIMBAL. Don't know what that stands for, but it's a alien adjacent project.
Well, man, I'm telling you right now.
Hold on.
Find it.
There's Project Sign, Project Grudge, and Project Blue Book. And then there's AARO. Do you know what that means? It's still going today. All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
See, and they have all these innocuous names that you don't really know what they're doing. But I also have a conspiracy theory that the timing of this lined up, as of the time of this recording, thank God, all of the astronauts came back from the Artemis mission, right? And for our listeners who weren't aware of what that was, they basically flew to the dark side of the moon and slungshot themselves all the way back to Earth. Now, why, Ed, would it be relevant for us to do that? Unless there is a theory that I read online that we have a secret moon base. I know I sound crazy. That we have a secret moon base on the dark side of the moon. Pink Floyd was probably right. But that we had lost communication with them. That this mission wasn't just to fly around and take pictures of the back of the moon. That we needed to reestablish communications with them. Because if you remember, we had an Aurora Borealis event that took place over most of America about 2 months ago, where a massive solar storm sent a lot of, radiation to our atmosphere. There's a theory that the moon base had its communication systems fried as a result, and that the Artemis 2 mission was purely just to get it back online. And Elon Musk knows about it. That's why he's doing the Starlink stuff. The Starlink stuff isn't for the internet. It's to create a stronger web for communications for us to get to the other side of the dark side of the moon, where the moon base is at. All right?
I love you. I thought you were going to say, hey, do you know what happens in 71 days, 9 hours, 15 minutes, and 49 seconds?
What?
Well, on July 2nd through the 4th of this year, the Roswell UFO Festival happens.
We're going.
And I would love to go.
Can we talk to the Ravensville team, see if they can fund my trip?
Absolutely.
I'll go by myself. I don't care. I don't care if it's on a Greyhound. Send me out there. I'll go.
I thought, I don't know why it was pulled up on my laptop, but I thought that's what you were about to say. I thought you'd send it over here.
No.
But it's just, anyway, yeah, 71.
Conspiracy theories. Also, just to put a cap on what I just said about Elon Musk, if you keep in mind, he gave up his ambition.
Why are you gritting your teeth?
I'm like grabbing the mic. You can tell how excited I get about this
You
shit
do.
by how quick I'll talk about it. Elon Musk abandoned his plan to colonize Mars. Now he's saying colonize the moon. Now that he's best friends with Donald Trump, or I know they had a falling out or whatever, but he's really close to him in terms of getting him elected and then having all this power that he didn't have prior. What if Donald Trump told him, like, yeah, dude, we actually do have a moon base on the other side of the moon, and now Elon Musk is like, it's possible, let's colonize the moon.
Maybe a way to get rid of them.
Yeah, get them off the earth. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of dots there. There's a lot of dots, Ed. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's come back to reality for just a minute. Not saying that
I've
could
been
be
in
true.
reality this whole time, man.
Not to say that couldn't be true, and I want to talk more about it. But since that festival popped up, I want to talk about our festival.
Let's do it. Then I'll bring my heart rate down.
His face is like his blood pressure is up. Saturday, October 10th, 2026, from 12 a.m. until 8 p.m.
12 a.m.
12 p.m.
12 a.m.,
12,
baby.
well, for us it will be.
Yeah,
From 12 p.m. until 8 p.m. at the Conference Center at the Holiday Inn, Cedar Bluff here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll be hosting, Jacob and I will be hosting Appalachian Horror Fest 2026, the 4th year. And I'm excited.
I'm super excited about it too. I will be doing an impromptu UFO panel near the bathrooms. Anybody who wants
Jacob, you were actually doing a panel, two perhaps, one with other people about UFOs, but you're coming back this year, not only as a host, but you and your brother, your twin brother, are coming back to help protect people.
Yes, we definitely are. We have revamped, actually, and we're making a couple of changes. We want to get more audience participation that we didn't have last year, but we still want it to be exciting. We still want it to be fun. And the cool thing about it is that what you're looking at...
What are you doing?
Yeah, we're teaching self-defense.
There you go.
Yeah, we're teaching self-defense. And the biggest thing that I think is really fun about doing it the way me and Zach do is that we really rip away the facade of nonsense that doesn't actually work. And we're showing people that the most effective self-defense techniques are not the most exciting, but we will show them but we will show them
this is how easily he's
independence from gravity, red, white, and whoa.
This
it's
is
like
how,
a bunch of UFOs. He's showing me a screen for all of the alien stuff. Yeah, but it'll be really fun. It'll be really cool.
Shut it down. So
it'll be really fun, really cool. I'm really excited for it. Everybody that saw it last year had fun. They laughed, they oohed, they awed, and we're just going to do it again, even better this year.
Great. We're really looking forward to that. It was a big hit last year. A lot of good came out of it. So we're really happy that you're coming back. So I have some questions.
Let's do it.
And maybe it's just a question. So I want you to talk, and this may be a whole nother episode. We could just introduce it here.
Okay.
But I want you to talk about the theory that, and I kind of started into it about the reporter, the theory about lots and lots of people here, maybe not aliens like they came here and they're living among us, but that we have alien DNA.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think that there is... I was actually just having a conversation with my friend the other day, okay?
Yeah.
If you look at just about every mammal that has a social structure to it, right? Where it's more than just a lone animal. Like some animals, they get born, their mother gives them just enough food and then just abandons them. And then they're out on their own, right? And then it's survival of the fittest at that point, right? Yes, we can admit that social animals have what we would describe as the emotion empathy. That they can, like we've observed elephants when an elephant passes away, that the elephants actually mourn. They're sad, they're depressed. Same thing with dogs. Like dogs can tell when their human master isn't doing very well, and they nuzzle up next to them. They behave differently. Cats do the same thing, right? The question is that a inherent trait that they evolved to understand, or did some sort of genetic overlords like our alien shepherds, did they instill a sense of empathy to create greater cohesion amongst the human race to survive? Also explaining why when we develop massive weapons of death and destruction and we're launching major wars, that could be them checking in and being like, why is the genetic code we put in them not working right now? And then they have to abduct us and figure it out.
Okay, so the reason I asked is that this is a modern alien DNA theory.
Okay.
That happened in 2025, 2026. And you've not talked about it, so I'm pretty sure you're not aware of it.
Okay.
The scientist's name is Max Rempel, Rempel.
Great name.
He claims that, Dr. Max Rempel, he claims that large DNA sequences in human families do not match either parent. Suggesting possible non-parental markers or alien insertion. The study analyzed 1,000 bits of data from the Genome Project.
Okay.
And 23andMe results from self-identified abductees. Okay. It reported 348 unexplained genetic variants in 11 families.
The research emphasized the findings are not peer-reviewed
Okay.
and require advanced sequencing to confirm. We also have a theory called the ancient astronaut theory, okay, where ancient astronauts landed or crashed and then genetically modified bloodlines by mating,
Mm-hmm.
okay, accelerating human evolution in some ways, whether it was purposeful or accidental. Then the mainstream genetics actually shows that, and this was 2026 Harvard analysis of 16,000 ancient genomes, okay? Human DNA is shaped by natural selection, not external engineering.
Yeah, of course Harvard would say that. They're in the pocket.
Well, hold on. Hundreds of gene variants changed over the last 10,000 years due to environmental pressures, diet, disease, and social factors. No evidence of non-human or extraterrestrial genetic material has been found. Okay?
That
because
we
they
know about.
Well, and I'm going to add to it because they don't know what to look for. There's no comparables.
Yeah. They would assume that it was bunk results if it didn't line up with what our understanding. The same reason I think why intergalactic space travel is impossible for us is that if we're trying to solve for algebra, there's probably a form of math that exists that we have no, even if we saw it on a whiteboard, the most intelligent human beings on the planet wouldn't know what to make of it. I don't think.
I think that you're absolutely right. And just so that the Brew Crew knows, our next episode is probably going to be about aliens too, because we're not going to have time to finish. We're not going to have time to finish it today. But one of the things that is prevalent today in my thinking, I know in your thinking, but in the world's thinking, is how do we know about aliens if we don't know? Okay. We guess they look like grays because we've been told that.
Mm-hmm.
But what if octopi are aliens?
Well, the Japanese and French government independently have done this. They have now designated octopi as sentient. I think also some porpoises like dolphins, they say are sentient, and that you actually cannot perform experiments on them because they have the capacity to understand oneself, right?
Well, yep.
And
humpback whales.
What are those?
Humpback whales?
Humpback whales. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and see, here's another thing. All I'm saying is, whenever you have a child, like take a child's mind, and you'd say, draw something. They draw a stick figure. Why do they draw a stick figure, Ed? It's because they want...
That's what they can see.
Well, it's not only what they can see. They want their creation to be a reflection of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There's aliens that live among us that probably look very similar to us. Because if you're going to create something, you want some skin in the game, I would think. Also, the ancient astronaut theory, just stop me if I go a little bit too much on this. The ancient astronaut theory, I think there's a book called the Bible. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they talk about...
I've studied it a little bit, I think.
They talk about the Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they?
And we've had an episode about the
Exactly. They crashed onto Earth from heaven, quote unquote, and then intermingled with the human race, creating more advanced things. And if they did do that, their genetic sequences would be different. I feel so sorry for Neanderthal. I really do. Because I believe that the aliens, if they're hyper intelligent beings, looked at the brain development of Neanderthal and then looked at the brain development of Homo sapien and said, if we are to create a vessel that will then eventually rule this planet, it should be something that is capable of abstract thought the way we are. And that's why Neanderthal fell to the wayside, if you believe in the ancient alien genetic shepherding theory that I do.
I don't know that it's so much shepherding as maybe it was a necessity.
Could have been a necessity.
I guess I'm going to go down one of my conspiracy theories for a minute.
Go for it.
Rather than the
shepherd, the kind, good person who's leading us. I think that it might have been, and I don't have all my proof or anything like that because it's a conspiracy theory.
I know. I'm here for it.
So I think that it could have been that they came here and couldn't leave, and they kind of instilled themselves into our culture as grand leaders
Oh, yeah.
and mated and did all those things that we've talked about in previous episodes.
Well, when they say mate, too, that's something that I think is really interesting, right? Because maybe back then we could only understand what they were doing to modify our genetic code in the languages that we understood it at the time. Like, yeah, if you take somebody, a man and a woman, they have a child, there's a combination of what makes them, that essence. And it creates a third being that is a little bit from here and a little bit from there. So when they say these Nephilim mated with human beings, or the ancient astronaut theory where they mated with human beings, maybe that was the only term that they could use to describe it. Because if you were a pre-Bronze Age civilization, how could you possibly describe what a laboratory was? How could you possibly describe the act of creation without using parables and stories to make it very simple for us?
Or they could have just fucked their way into our world.
They could have easily, Zeus, if he was an ancient astronaut, for sure fucked everything. But
I mean, when you read about the Nephilim
Mhm.
in books today, and most of them are fantasy books, but they are considered beautiful, strong, masculine, muscular, endowed beings.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
I think we just cracked something open.
You heard it live on air. You heard it here first.
Okay, Jacob, I'm going to have to say we're at the end of this episode.
Dude, you know I could have kept it.
I know.
You know I've been leaned forward.
That's why you saw me. I moved the schedule around. For the Brew Crew, Jacob is. I don't know how you got so many notes all of a sudden. Like, did you pull them out of your butt?
I pull them out of my brain because for you research for the alien stuff when we have an episode. I'm researching 24/7, baby. 24/7, I'm researching this stuff.
I got you. So we're going to say farewell for today. We'll be back next week with more deeper dive for Jacob to try to convince me about his conspiracy theories.
And who knows, maybe in the time before you and I get back to record, they may release more information, or maybe another scientist ends up missing or dead. It's happening that quick, right?
I hope no one ends up dead or missing, because I'd have to come look at your house.
Well, if I end up missing, aliens again, holla at your boy.
Thank you, everybody, for listening today. Brew Crew, we love you.
We love you.
If you're new to our podcast, new to the show, thank you for listening in today, and come back next time.
Yeah, and if you have any cool alien stories or theories of yourself, phone home to us and definitely share it with us. I'd love to discuss it.
There you go.
All right, see you guys.
Bye. Now, family, you adults have a few chores to do. Go on over to ravensvale.com and see about doing your chores on social media. Follow us on all the social media platforms that we've made available just for you folks. Like, listen, subscribe, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you don't mind, leave us a good rating and a kind comment. You can find The Cauldron on your favorite podcast platform. And again, make sure you hit that follow button to stay up to date with our latest episodes.
The Cracked Cauldron is a production of Small Raven Media. Today's episode was hosted by Ed Bolden Greer and Jacob A. Garner. Audio engineering and sound design by Nick Devan at Nicky D Sound. Copyrighted 2025 Small Raven Media. All rights reserved.